Well, the Xbox conference happened, and it dropped some big bombs. That Bethesda purchase is starting to look like a really good move. But there's so much more to talk about. The next year of Xbox is going to be incredible. Hi folks, it's Falcon.
And me, Jake. I'm actually live at the Summer Game Fest Xbox thing.
And this is the 10 biggest announcements of the Xbox conference. Let's start with number 10, that Forza Motorsport gameplay reveal. So what we got here was actually just absolutely incredible. It was a full-on, no-cut, one-camera preview. It's the fan-favorite Maple Valley track shown at what can only be described as a generational leap. Now, they for certain asserted that and they want us to think that, but I think it's actually worth giving it to them because Forza is a beautiful game. It's always been a beautiful game, but this is a big jump. Now, the biggest thing they bragged about is, of course, overhauling the driving experience with a, and I quote, 48 times improvement on the fidelity of their physics simulation. But there's a lot of other interesting stuff here as well. First, obviously, the textures are incredible. We're looking at tracks that are built with photorealistic elements and rendered with ray tracing and elemental stuff that is far beyond what was possible not long ago. But not only have they overhauled the graphics and driving, we've got weather effects that not only change what things look like, but how they work, like temperature changes, for instance, affecting your tire grip, and that means not only will different types of weather affect the course, but also the time of day. It's cooler at night than it is during the day, so you're going to have to figure all of this into how you're driving. The only thing that doesn't really look that incredible is the car damage. It's not bad or anything, but it's not impressive in the way that they sold it on the stream. But that's like the only thing that stands out as not as good as they claimed it was. And again, it's not that it looked bad, it's just that it wasn't as impressive as everything else. And they've obviously got some time to work on that. They gave us a spring 2023 release date, and as far as I'm concerned, this is a highly anticipated title. We all enjoy a good racing game, and Forza's always among the best, so I can't wait to play it. At number 9 is High on Life, a new game from the creators of Rick and Morty and also Solar Opposites, which doesn't matter because it's not Rick and Morty. Long story short, it's a full-blown FPS that's Rick and Morty nonsense. It's got all of the Rick and Morty everything going on, all the kind of strange stream of consciousness talking, bizarre Gatlians. This is the name of the species that all of your guns are. Your guns talk to you too. I feel like the Rick and Morty creator just sort of saw that they had talking guns in Borderlands 2 and was like, what if that was the whole game? Keeping in mind that there actually is more to it. There is a story in which people, as in humans, are being sold as drugs. That is the origin of the title of the game, High on Life. I feel like it's something that's got a lot of potential because, honestly, Squanch Games is starting to look a lot like the shiny entertainment of today. In some ways, this kind of feels like the equivalent of an Earthworm Jim style sense of humor, except obviously executed as though it were in Rick and Morty. I don't think that the VR games Squanch has put out are really special, but this looks like it's much more interesting. It's a lot higher effort. It looks like it actually has novel control ideas, and it's also a day one Game Pass game. So High on Life is releasing in October. At number 8 is Ark 2. Now, we only really got a new trailer. I don't want to call it gameplay, but this was real-time Unreal Engine 5 footage, so potentially it's an incredible jump in graphical fidelity. That's pretty much all we really have to go on, though, other than the fact that Vin Diesel was 100% in this trailer, growling while riding a dinosaur, and I think if this were 15 years ago, people would have laughed at that, but honestly, it seems like Vin Diesel is now living his best life. So there's nothing really shocking about this trailer. It just looks as though they've continued to develop it, and it looks pretty darn good. I am excited for a new Ark game, and I'm amused that they started this trailer with a dodo. Ark 2 is coming sometime in 2023, and we will keep you updated as news comes in. And number 7 is Redfall. I am really excited for Redfall. If you go back to when this game was originally announced, I would have probably not been very interested in it if not for the fact that it was developed by Arcane. And to me, that says, oh, well, they're going to take that idea and make it into something that is completely next level. And from the looks of it, and we got a 100% gameplay trailer, they are on track to do just that. Now, this Redfall presentation, in my opinion, really displayed some confidence in the game. We got story, we got introduced to characters, we got a lot of gameplay, and pretty much every element of it looked great. You can see that trademark Arcane style gameplay in there with the powers and the integration of world obstacles and things like that. But I think that there are some interesting steps that they're taking in that A, it's an open world, B, it's fully narrative, C, it takes on some traditional lore with vampires, D, these vampires have just sort of taken over a city on an island. And really, like, a lot of it looks unique. Like, we don't just have vampires, we also have vampire followers, we have sort of extreme enemies like the blood bags. It kind of looks like a Borderlands kind of game in an open world that plays, in some ways it kind of looks like the pace has been picked up a bit too. Like, it's kind of the BioShock Infinite to Dishonored's BioShock in certain ways. All positive, of course. Obviously there's some elements of BioShock Infinite that aren't entirely positive, but it looks like we've got dungeons where you're going to be hunting vampires, we've got portals to more linear levels, you've got the ability to do co-op, and it's going to be Xbox exclusive in early 2023. Honestly, I'm extremely hyped for Redfall.
At number 6 is Minecraft Legends, an action strategy game that Mojang Studios, the creators of Minecraft, have decided to embark upon after some success with Minecraft Dungeons, which is, might I add, quite an enjoyable game. I've personally had a lot of fun with family and friends playing Minecraft Dungeons, so I think I'm more than willing to give this a spin. As we understand it, this Minecraft takes place in an overworld, obviously familiar, looks like any Minecraft world, but the difference in this one is that you will be fighting hordes of enemies as they attempt to spread corruption from the Nether. Now, it's an action game, so you are fighting, but you're also giving directions and commands to a team of other fighters that follow you. This can be done with AI partners or with co-op and with competitive multiplayer. It looks like another entry into these sort of spin-off games that Minecraft Dungeons was maybe kind of a prototype or a dipping of the toe into the water. Different types of games that take place in Minecraft, although this one, unlike Dungeons, will feature building. Not that I really think it matters, because if they deliver on a good action strategy game, honestly, that's all you need to get me in the door when Minecraft Legends launches in 2023. And number 5 is Ereban Shadow Legacy, a game that looks really good. Now, the developer of this game, Baby Robot Games, actually released what I think is a predecessor of this game on itch.io. It's free to download now, and I think that if you play it and then come back and watch the trailer for this game again, you have some pretty clear idea as to what this game is. However, this game looks paced much faster. That game is called Atlas's Fate, Between Light and Darkness, and it very much has the same kind of shadow crawling stealth gameplay. So if you kind of want to know what you're in for with this, albeit with what seems to be a much better production quality, much better graphics, much better voice acting, probably better storytelling, head to their website at Baby Robot Games. I'm definitely going to be spending some time playing that because this game really intrigued me, and frankly, I'm excited for it. Ereban Shadow Legacy is coming in 2023, and I think it's probably going to be really good.
Switching gears over to me, at number 4, we have Diablo 4 gameplay. We got like a Necromancer-focused trailer that was all CGI, but very cool. There are going to be 5 classes, at least for now, so there's that. But then we got a good, strong look at Diablo 4 gameplay with the really grim, dark art style, apparently a lot more customization, fully open world. They said about 150 dungeons, world events, like local events that will just pop up as you're exploring out in the world. There's also going to be shared world stuff, which we didn't see too much of. I'm very curious to see if there's also a way to play offline if you're not into that. There's going to be couch co-op, which I think is incredible for that. There's going to be specific PvP zones, and they did at the very least bring up endgame. We didn't get too many details for it, but they did say that it is going to be a continuously supported thing. Obviously, on a lot of people's minds, is Diablo Immortal So hopefully the same mistakes aren't made here, but just looking at this, it does seem promising, especially with like Rod Ferguson working on it, but it has a 2023 release date for now. Now over at number 3, we have COCOON. This is actually a new game from one of the creators behind Inside and Limbo. It's not made by NeverDead though, so that's technically a little misleading. This is a different studio, and it's like a strange puzzle-solving portal game, which does some pretty neat visual tricks that kind of like, we were like, whoa. It looks like it kind of revolves around using different light balls to solve puzzles and traverse the environment, but it also seems oddly relaxing and atmospheric. It was a shorter trailer. I definitely think we need to see more, but at the very least, like with what Microsoft was doing here, they did show a lot of gameplay, and that's good at least. Now next down at number 2, we got the announcement of Wolong Fallen Destiny. This is a Team Ninja and Koei Tecmo game, and we straight up all thought it was Neo 3 until the title popped up. But actually, instead of ancient Japan, it looks more like China here instead. Action possibly looks similar to something like Neo, maybe more Ninja Gaiden infused, but it's hard to tell because unfortunately, this one wasn't really a gameplay trailer. This was more cinematic, but the people behind it, and at least the fact that Xbox is trying to strengthen up working with Japanese developers, is a good look. And of course, down at number 1, Starfield. We got a good lengthy look at the newest game from Bethesda Game Studios, and yeah, dude, it does look like Skyrim in space. We got a pretty simple pared down HUD. You see your weapons, your health, your grenades, stuff like that. It looks like there is kind of a quest compass. In the other corner, you're going to be scanning indigenous life. You're going to be scanning plants, minerals. You're going to be collecting and harvesting minerals and stuff like that. Not all aliens are going to be hostile, but then we got to see a raid on a base where you're fighting other space raiders with some pretty, if you ask me, whatever looking first-person combat. You know, I don't expect Bethesda to make combat like Doom Eternal or anything like that, but it just seemed fine. Couple that with the lower frame rate, a little bit of red flags, but thankfully the rest of it, the world building, the fact that it's going to be based around factions and the whole faction thing, hopefully like New Vegas, the different cities and the different cultures they built, along with just the exploration and specifically base building, which is returning, but now with a space flare, but also the ability to completely and fully build out and man your ships, which I'm gonna be honest, like that's gonna get me to play it. That seems pretty cool, man. And then there is space combat and space flight. They also detailed that this world is very big with hundreds of explorable planets, different solar systems. I think at this point as gamers, we're pretty skeptical of like open world space exploration, endless planet stuff, but they're going for it, and we're curious to see how that pans out. There's pretty deep character creation, there's skill systems, there's a lot of crafting, but what interested me the most was the story and the music and the atmosphere. As you guys know, recently it was delayed, but we know it is officially coming in 2023. And now I know we rounded it down to a top 10, but we got a couple more we had to squeeze in. First, Ravenlock. This is a cool voxel-looking adventure game set in an Alice in Wonderland-like world with action combat. That's also coming in 2023. The Last Case of Benedict Fox, which is my personal favorite, this 2D spooky adventure that looks both Monkey Island and The Darkness inspired, which is an odd mix. I'm about it. Overwatch 2 got a release date. It is coming in October, and it is going to be free to play. We also got a new Hollow Knight trailer. Hollow Knight Silksong, we still know it exists. We got confirmation that it is still coming, but no release date, man. Also, the Persona games are coming to Xbox and presumably Windows, which is great. Persona 5 is coming first, and then we're also getting Persona 4 and Persona 3. That is absolutely huge, and that is a ton of JRPG gameplay. Also, last but certainly not least, Hideo Kojima showed up to say that he is working on a new game with Xbox. He referenced it being some type of cloud technology game, but that's really all we know. It's probably going to be quite a while before we hear any more, you know? But that's the Xbox stuff, so we want to hear from you guys in the comments. We saw a lot of gameplay. What do you think? Is there one game in particular that really caught your eye? We definitely want to hear what you think about the games and the individual events down in the comments. If you got your own top 10 for things you saw, definitely hit us with that. But thank you guys for watching. We're going to continue to keep you updated on all the Summer Games Fest stuff. If you were informed, if this helps you out, clicking the like button really helps us out. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.